The last time the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series drivers hit the track, Mark Mongillo took the win after passing Casey Lester coming to the white flag. Mongillo will lead the points for the first time since 2009, where in that year he led the points in the final 3 races of the season. As this week's race will be at the Atlantic City Speedrome, a 1.2 mile oval which had its first NOVAR race during the 2010 season and was shifted to the second race of the season beginning with the 2012 season. There was also some controversy that lighted through the weekend as the qualifiers went through. The race ended under caution, and as Eddie Johns, who was leading the qualifier for this week, after he took the checkered flag to end regulation, the engine blew up, so as a result, the NOVAR officials did not allow that car to continue onto the track, and Shane Harden actually, I believe, went on to win the qualifying race. And thus, as a result, Eddie Johns was forced to not qualify for this race. So there will be some investigation going on, and there may be a rule change about that. So I'll hand it over to Kendall Johnson. Casey Lester leads on the start of this race with Logan Chin on his outside. Brian Wilson making his first start of the year sits behind Lester. Lester gets a pretty good jump out in front of the outside line. I believe the outside line had a horrible start as Logan Chin is falling back like a rock. There you see Mark Mongillo going 3 wide early on, and Brian Wilson and Keith Hales going into this race was 4th in points, actually 5th in points going into this weekend after his top 5 finish in Dentsville. Looks like the top 3 break away from everybody else as Sean McDowell has jumped into the 4th spot. Scott Johnson is trying for that spot. Scott Howard is also another driver that's making his first of the year. Brian Wilson, as I aforementioned, was making his first start of the year. Another driver making his first start of the year, which is also a surprise, is the car that Howard is passing, that 59 of Shane Harden. Harden won 3 races last year, but dropped his way out of the championship, and Harden is right now running towards the back of the field. And then another driver is right behind Scott Howard, is the 5 Casey Littinger. Littinger has failed to qualify for Dentsville due to the crash that happened with a couple laps left. But however, he couldn't really make up any spots in that final section of that Dentsville qualifier. There you see Shane Harden on the inside. He is actually trying to get by the 5 of Littinger. Littinger is also running about midfield, around where those 3 are. And then here's Mark Mongillo in car number 20. Mark Mongillo could do something that only Chad LeBlake has done in 2005. He could be the first driver since Chad LeBlake in 2005 to lead the points after 2 races. After 2 races into the season, Chad LeBlake was the last one to do it in 2005, where he won at Daytona and then followed that up by a win at Dover. We would have our first caution come out on lap 29. Sean McDowell, Mark Mongillo, and Scott Harper in the 6 would all slide. The 10 and the 6 would get into the inside wall. McDowell would come back up the track and get into Ryan Pearson. The 10 goes flipping. The 33 is collected. Luke Warren, Carson Brooks, Shane Clark III's there. Brian Kittleson's there. And the 10 would come to rest. There you see the 6 also took a wild ride. Here's a look from Scott Harper's perspective. The 20 of Mongillo gets into the 10 and the 6. The 6 gets into the 10 and then spins back up the track. Gets hit hard by the 26 of Todd Piper and Chris Clark. Brian Kittleson is collected. And Shane Clark III is there as the 6 rolls down the track and will get onto his roof. I believe the 10 and the 6 would be done for the day. On this restart, Casey Lester, car number 12, would be leading on this restart. The 90 of Brian Wilson sits 2nd, Jason Duke sits 3rd, and I believe Shane Harden actually made a pretty good climb. He's all the way up to 5th. The 33 would be way off the pace, while the 98 would be just off the pace as well. Harden would get held up by the lap car number 98, and the 12, Casey Lester, pits. Casey Lester and Brian Wilson, the first 2 cars, Shane Harden and Felipe Tagliano also pit. So I think that would be a common trend because cars, I believe, would be having like tire wear issues throughout this race. Jason Duke, car number 66, would take over as the race leader. Walter Green would then take over 2nd spot. Logan Chin takes 3rd, and Jamie Scott Hayes takes over 4th. There you see the 66 of Jason Duke. Duke would come into pits. He would also have that same tire wear issue, so thus this would hand the lead to Walter Green in car number 39. Logan Chin sits in 2nd spot as Cody White will take over the 3rd spot. As there you see he crosses the line to complete I believe, lap number 36. As we would have our next caution on lap 38. Carter Pavis gets into Tony Wider, and then sends the 75 Carson Brooks around. He gets hit by Ryan Pearson, who then is pushed by Ryan Wilson. There you see all those other cars coming by. Nobody else would hit neither of those cars. On those restart, Logan Chin in the 72 would be leading, as Jamie Scott A sits in second spot. Scott Howard in the 25 sits third. Randy Green in the 30 sits fourth. Casey Littinger sits in fifth, as Connor Zuki sits in sixth. There would be a huge stack up, as I believe Logan Chin did not get a good restart on the outside. I don't think Logan Chin should be on the outside because of that. And Jamie Scott A is going to try to take the lead. Brandon Green's going to make it 3 wide, as they're going to head out of turn number 4. And they are 3 wide, as Logan Chin now gets into the wall. And there you see Keith Hales right there. I believe he's a lap down. The 30 of Brandon Green would take the lead and would just get through with this massive carnage throughout the entire with the lead pack. Connell Zuki's going to try to get the lead on the outside. Jamie Scott A is also there, as it looks like I believe this lead will settle out. Our next caution will come out on lap number 55. Scott Johnson gets into the 33 of Cameron Brooks. Evan Brooks has collected the 33 would spin wildly, and this would start up a stack up effect. The 58 gets turned. He gets turned upside down. The 38 of Chris Bell's collected as well. He gets hit by Cody White. The 35 of Tony Wider's also in there. So a pretty big wreck, as there we see another angle. It looks like the 33 just came up on the 58. I don't know why he was doing that. The 33 came up on the 58, and there's the 58 rolls over. The 5 of Littinger was also collected. I believe Corey Von Delga also got a piece of that. As there you see the 58, he will actually continue on from this. I believe he would be done for the day, even though he continued on. Shane Harden, car number 32, with the lead on this restart. On lap number 60, as Shane Harden is also a lap down. And the 9 of Jamie Scott A is also, I believe the 9 had a terrible restart. Jared Lancel sits in third after racing his way in, after finishing fourth last week at Dentsville. Jalen Arnori sits in fifth spot, while I believe that's so on. Jason Duke in the 66 of Jason Duke in the 66 and 27 of Carter of Keith Hales. Sorry, I've been like messing up on that one. Walter Green, car number 39, and Brian Wilson, they'll be going 3 wide. I believe Wilson's on the lead lap, and Walter Green is also on the lead. There you see, I believe Chris Bell, I think he went to the pits. Jason Duke would actually get to the lead. No, they're actually still 4 wide, all for the lead. And there you see the 29 of Steven Volko's turnaround. That would be our next caution, which would happen on lap 63. Here's what happened. Connor Zuki gets into the 29 and then gets into the 24, Justin Clinkston. Clinkston, who almost won pretty much every Dentsville race there was. He gets turned around spinning sideways in the front stretch. Here's what happened to Steven Volk. He gets turned by the 71, and he spins through the infield grass. The 29 would come back up on the track, but nobody would hit the 29 except for Carter Pavis. The 29 would, I believe, keep on going, as that was our 4th caution, as we're going to have a restart on lap number 68. Jamie Scott and Shane Nargan were 2 and 1 respectively. Casey Uzo sits 3rd, Logan Chin sits 4th, and the lap counter on for the lap cars is getting a little bit bigger. There, Nargan gets a good restart. Jamie Scott 8 gets away from the leaders. Actually, the 9 is still with the pack, as the 32 of Shane Nargan actually got away from the leaders right now, as Nargan is going to head off at turn 4. And it looks like and Chandler Blake and the 90 of Brian Wilson were beating and banging as they come out of turn number 2. The 32 was also there. Here we have our next caution, lap 70. Mark McGill gets turned around and spins across the track. There will be no harm, no foul for the 20, although he got some damage in that one. But that was not our only wreck of the caution. Evan Brooks and Shane Truex get together. The 95 comes back up the track, gets into Connell Zuki, and that gets Casey Lester, Corey Mondelga, Brian Kittleson, and Carson Brooks. That would basically be it for this wreck, as every driver that was involved continued on going. Shane Nargan led on the restart. Logan Chin is still second, actually restarted in second, but somehow is real slow on the outside, which I don't know if the 72 is not that good on restarts or he's just having issues with that car on the outside. But whenever that 72 has been restarting on the outside, that car has been just struggling to get going. Norton gets away from the pack, as there you see, we have our next caution come out on lap number 92. It was actually a long time. Chad Blake in the 15 gets spun across the front stretch. No harm, no foul done for this 15 car, as he keeps on going. Lap 97 will be the restart. Shane Nargan in the 32. Cameron Brooks in the 33 has been way slow, as the 32 is getting... Actually, didn't really get away from the leaders there. He gets away from Shane Clark III. As well, we got contact, and they almost are wrecking. I think we saw some smoke back there, but Shane Nargan is pitting. So one of the strongest cars in this race is pitting, and we have a caution come out. This is actually on lap 98. Logan Chin, and Logan Chin gets turned sideways. But we'll have to get to that first. Let's see what happened here. Looks like CJ Gordon gets into Jason Duke. Jason Duke gets into Ryan Pearson. Justin Klingston's collected. Brian Kittelson's collected again. We have another wreck happening in the back, as 48 continues on going. Let's take a look. Here's from Evan Brooks' perspective. They bumped, and then Walter Green just flat out dumps him. Like, I don't know what was that for. I believe they contacted with him twice. As there you see, and then gets hit hard by the two. And Ryan Pearson gets hit by Blake Battaglia, Mark Magillo, and Corey Von Delga. As here's what happened to Logan Chin. Shane Clark III just runs right up into the 72, and the 72 gets hit by the 30 of Brandon Green and Brian Wilson. The 72 would not really get any other damage, but I believe if he fell a lap down, that would be he would be lucky if that happened. But otherwise, Jamie Scott would lead on this restart. Scott Howard, Chin's teammate, is in second. Brandon Green in third, and Jake Kierland in fourth. As I believe Clark is going to split the middle of everybody. As there you see Scotty and Howard, I believe, and we have another wreck in the back. That's on lap number 104. Chris Clark gets into Logan Chin, and CJ Gordon and Justin Klingston all get collected. The 56 keeps on going, and then we have another wreck. Shane Hard's there, and I think we had the 53 Kilsons, and Nargan's also upside down. The 53 is rolling down the track. We'll have to... I don't know why our cameras didn't catch that, but we saw the 53 and the 32 go rolling over on the track. The 9 of Jamie Scott led on the restart with Shane Nargan, with Brandon Green at 30 sits in second. Scott Howard in the 25 sits in third, and Jake Kierland will sit in fourth. As they see, Brandon Green goes for the lead other than 9, and Scott Howard in the 25 will go for second as well. So it looks like Scott lost 2 spots in about 2 turns. As they see Howard in the 25, he has a pretty good car. He looks like he's going to go to the inside, but we have another caution happening on lap 118. The 95 of Evan Brooks spun and gets Keith Hales in the 27, and he comes back down the track. As we have another angle, here's what happened to Cameron Brooks. He actually got spun down the track, and looks like nothing really major happened. On the restart, Brandon Green, car number 30, leads Scott Howard in the 25, excuse me. On this restart, Brandon Green actually gets away from the 25. Shane Harden sits in third. Harden was actually latted down for pretty much the entire race. However, he has clawed his way back up to the third spot, as I believe the 59 would actually be one of the better cars toward the latter stages of this race, as I believe Brandon Green got away from everybody, and Scott Howard is right now trapped behind lap cars. We have another caution, lap 134. Shane Clark III gets into the 95 of Evan Brooks, and the 35 of Tony Whiter is also collected as well. As the 95, nobody else would hit him. On the restart, Shane Harden somehow clawed his way back up to the front, as Brian Wilson, car number 90, is going to go to the inside of the 59, followed by the 25 of Scott Howard. Wilson will try to get to the inside, and will try to get onto the bottom of the 90, and the 59 would actually be one of the contenders for this race, as it would actually be, I believe, the contenders for the finish. Brandon Green sits in third spot, and we have another caution coming out, our final one, on lap 141, as we have a decent-sized pileup, as I think that was Chandler Blake, Carter Pavis all slide in. That was Brian Kittleson that got turned around. Even Evan Brooks got collected in that one. And we have a final restart with just about 5 laps to go. Brian Wilson would be the lead on this restart. And basically the first 6 cars had a shot. Casey Lester's a lap down, as Brian Wilson is right now the race leader, as he is holding his ground. So coming around, this was lap 146. Coming to lap 147, Shane Harden's going to go to the inside. And Jamie Scott Wilson will have help from the 30 of Brandon Green. Looks like the 9 will go under the 30, and Scotty will pass both Wilson and Green. So it looks like this race will be between Scotty and Shane Harden, unless Brandon Green can somehow. Brandon Green has a really good car as we're heading to laps with 3 laps to go. The 39 does neither the 9 or the 30 have the ability to catch and pass the 59. Looks like Brandon Green is gonna try. He looks like he is trying for second now, as looks like he's gonna peek to the inside. There he goes. So coming to 2 laps to go, as they see the 30 of Brandon Green will get to the inside and will get under the 9 of Jamie Scott. Harden will get to the bottom of this racetrack. Will get away a little bit, and the 30 will have a chance to run down the 59. Does Brandon Green have enough to catch the 59 of Shane Harden? As they're heading into the corner, we're going to take the white flag this time. Casey Lester in the back is a lap down. Final lap is out. Shane Harden has a good sized lead. Scott A has a run and will go for second. So Scott A will get the run and looks like he will get second, but I don't think it is enough for Scotty to catch both the 30 and the 59. Coming out of turn number 3 and 4, Harden struggled all year, failed to qualify for Dentsville, and his first stunt of the year will be a victory here at Atlantic City. Jamie Scott A gets second, Brandon Green gets third. There you see updated point standings on the left of your screen, but we'll get to this thing on the right. There you see the scrolling top 10 results. Shane Harden is your winner. Jamie Scott A and Brandon Green battled out hard for the second spot, but they couldn't do anything with Shane Harden in that last restart. Keith Hales will get to 4th spot. Pretty good run for car number 27. I believe this is his second straight top 5 finish this year. Casey Hutto finishes 5th for his second straight top 20 finish. Scott Howard, I believe this is his first start of the year and gets the top 10. Way to go for Scott Howard. Also doing that same feat is Brian Wilson, who fell back on that final restart. J.R. Honore sits 8th spot. Gets the 8th spot. 9th spot goes to Jake Kierland. And 10th will go to Shane Truex, who had a pretty good run in this race. As you see the results going through, your updated point standings. Keith Hales takes the points lead, so it looks like history will not continue for Mark Mongillo, as he will drop to 4th in standings. And Jamie Scott A, how about that? For the first time in his career, he sits in the top 30 in points, and he sits second going into Las Vegas. Sitting in 3rd spot, Casey Lester, despite troubles in this race, comes up to finish 3rd in points. Mark Mongillo drops to 4th, as I mentioned, due to his poor run. Justin Klinkson, I believe, had issues in this race and falls to 5th. Casey Hutto with his top 5 finish, jumps him up to 6th. Shane Truex, also with a top 10 run, gets 7th, and then Cody White gets 8th. And now we go through 9 through 15. Luke Warren sits 9th. He gains 7 spots this weekend. Brandon Green was our biggest winner, jumping from 33rd to 10th in points. Jake Kierland sits in 11th. He gained 14 spots. Chandler Blake jumps to 12th, actually drops to 12th. Loss of 3 there. Carson Brooks gains 2 spots to 13th. J.R. Honore goes up 17 spots. And then Blake Battagliana rounds out the top 15. He lost 7 spots this weekend. The next race, which should be at Chicagoland, and it's sure going to be one heck of a race.